And welcome back to the Snivy Pad. Please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with all your friends. So today we'll be going over the top 5 decks in Standard right now. So before we begin, I would like to give a big shout out to Limitless TCG and Channel Fireball. They've been a huge help in creating this video, especially with all the deck list ideas. So again, big shout out to them. So starting off, we have number 5, and it is Urshifu VMAX Rapid Style. So it's a Rapid Strike card, as it says in the name. 330 HP Fire type, and its attack for 1 Fighting type energy states Gale Thrust for 30 damage plus. If this Pokemon moves from your bench to the active spot during this turn, your attack does 120 more damage. Its second and final attack for 2 Fighting energies, 1 Colorless energy, Gmax Rapid Flow, states discard all energy attached to this Pokemon. This attack does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Don't apply weakness and resistance for bench Pokemon. So the deck list you can see on screen here is a deck list that I put together for it. It is pretty much a simple deck list for you that is really just gets to the point of the deck. Basically, you want to have that 4/4 line of Urshifu, obviously, because it's your main card. The Jirachi is in there for support, along with the Dedenne and the Crobat, and the Zigzagoon is just in there for just extra damage. So your only really tacker in the deck is going to be Urshifu VMAX. You could add stuff like Empoleon in there, or maybe even a Stonjourner or a Regirock, but those are up to you. So the supporter cards and trainer cards, they're pretty much normally what you would see in a deck, except for stuff like Rapid Strike Energy, which you put in a Rapid Strike deck because it's Rapid Strike Energy. It's kind of in the name. So this deck has been winning a bunch of tournaments, especially in Japan recently, in order to be on this list, and it has just been demolishing opponents such as Eternatus, Dragapult, or even Zacian ADP, which we'll get to later on in the video. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So this deck has really just been amazing in the past couple days, especially since the set has come out in English. There have been a lot more combos that you'll be able to do with it, and it has just worked really well. So moving on to number 4, we have Eternatus VMAX. So Eternatus VMAX is another VMAX card. It's a Darkness type this time. It has 340 HP. Its ability, Eternal Zone, states if all of your Pokemon in play are Darkness type, you can have up to 8 Pokemon on your bench, and you cannot put any non-Darkness Pokemon on your bench. If you do, then discard Pokemon until you have 5 cards on your bench. So then its attack for 1 Darkness Energy and 1 Colorless Energy, Dread End, 30 damage times its attack is 30 damage for each of your Darkness Pokemon in play. So its ability here is pretty much the Sky Stadium from Black and White. Saw tons and tons and tons of play, and so does the ability for Eternatus. The only problem is you can only really have Darkness-type Pokemon in there, but since most support Pokemon in the game are Darkness-type Pokemon right now, that doesn't really matter for you. It will also allow you to deal almost 200 damage with your attack if you have all of the cards on your bench, but it will also be at 2 energy cost, which is very, very good. So the deck list you can see on screen here has the 4/4 line of the main attacker, which is Eternatus, some Zigzagoons, and the Yveltal and Hoopa. Yveltal and Hoopa are basically just like your support Pokemon or other attackers. The Crobat, again, support Pokemon, and the Zigzagoon is just if you need extra damage. Every deck should really have Zigzagoon in there just because of that extra damage. So its supporter line and stadium line and all that isn't really out of the ordinary. The Darkness Energies, obviously, because it's a Darkness-type deck. Something's really odd about this deck. It's mainly just most of these decks in this video are just going to be shells of the deck. You can alter them how you like, but you can take the ideas from them. So it is a good card. It's seen tons of play ever since it came out in Darkness Ablaze, like around a year ago now, actually. It's amazing how the time flies like that. And it has just been super good. It has been competing with stuff such as Dragapult and Zacian ADP, but it has not gotten as good as them. It's still gotten insanely good and insanely powerful, but it's still something to consider. So moving on to number 3, we have Dragapult VMAX. Our third and final VMAX card for this video is Dragapult. So it has 320 HP. It is a Psychic-type Pokemon. Its first attack for 1 Psychic energy is Shred, and it's 60 damage, and this attack isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. Its main attack, though, for 2 Darkness Energies is Max Expansive for 130 damage, and put 5 damage counters on your opponent's bench Pokemon in any way you like, and of course, you don't apply weakness and resistance for the bench Pokemon. So the deck you can see on screen here is pretty much another simple deck, nothing out of the ordinary. It's mainly just, like I said earlier, just a shell of a deck. You can add most stuff into it. It's focusing more on the actual card. Its first attack is insanely good because it'll get rid of such as Decidui, or if you're playing in unstandard or expanded or unlimited or even, then it'll be able to counter such as Hoopa, which is extremely popular in expanded. So you're going to want to include stuff like Giratina in this, which has its insane ability. And you'll also want to include Horror Energy because the main goal of this really is to just spread damage everywhere. Max Phantom can do 130 damage to your opponent's active, which is decent. It's not amazing. But its attack, it can put 5 damage counters wherever you like. That can start to add up very, very fast, especially if you have stuff on the bench that is damaged. So especially with the Horror Energy, it can make you do insane amount of damage. And even if you want to go expanded and stuff like I have in here, we have Shrine of Punishment, which is just another amazing thing that you can play in here. So going on to number 2, we have Zacian ADP. So Zacian ADP, you can see the deck list on screen here. Again, nothing out of the ordinary. It's just like a shell. But focusing on the actual card, its Intrepid Sword ability is once during your turn, you may look at the top 3 cards of your deck. If there are any Metal Energy cards there, you can attach them to Zacian. If not, put the rest in your hand, and your turn ends. It's pretty good for starting up. It's not insane, but it can really, really, really get you what you want. If you can use stuff like a Rangaroo, or even if you're an expander, you can use Mallow. And it's just really good, especially with its attack, which is Brave Blade for 230 damage, and you can't use it next turn. It's insane, especially when you're able to switch it back and forth, and it just adds up super quickly, the damage. So its other Pokemon that we play it with is Arceus, Dialga, and Palkia. Its attack allows you to do 150 damage, and you get to search for 3 energies, put them however you like in your Pokemon. Slack can power up a Zacian too, and its GX attack is the main reason why we play it, though, because that'll allow you to do 30 more damage for the rest of the game, and you take another prize card for the rest of the game. It's an insane card, to say the least, especially when you're dealing with other tag teams or VMAX cards, because it'll get 4 prize cards for them, and then it'll just knock out anything else, and you win. It's an insane card. Most decks play at least one of them just for that GX attack, except for stuff like Melmetal, but that's a whole nother story. And yeah, this deck is just insane. It's been insane ever since it came around, and there's really nothing else that can beat it. Well, nothing else except for our number 1 spot, which is the deck that will never go away, Pikachu and Zekrom Gx. So Pikarom, as it's better known as, is a tag team card from Team Up. It is one of the most insane cards that we have seen in a very long time. Every single time a set comes out, people will always say, oh, Pikarom's going to die. It's not going to be here anymore. Oh, da, 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 da. But it has never gone away. And it's going to look like it's not going to go away even in Expanded when we get to rotation. So the deck you can see on screen here is another shell of a deck. You see its other counterpart, which we usually play it with, which is Raichu and Alolan Raichu. And we have our Electric-type support Pokemon in there, all the Electric Trainer cards in there. This was amazing back in the day, like a year ago. Well, not really a year ago, but still. It was amazing then, before rotation, because we would have all these supported cards for it. We would have Volkner, we had Electro Power, we have Electromagnetic Radar, we have Thunder Mountain Prism card, we still have Tapu Koko, but that was a lot better back then. We had all sorts of stuff that we could get Pikarom with. It's not really there anymore, but it's still an amazing card. You can get 150 damage, and you search for 3 electric-type cards and put them anywhere you like. You can just attack with that once, and then you're set for the rest of the game. You can even put it on there and use its GX attack, and you'll be able to do insane amount of damage while doing 170 damage to the bench, which is really why it makes it so good, because you can knock out a Dedenne with it. If you have an ADP, so there's none in the deck that I have on screen, but still, if you have an ADP out and you're doing extra damage, you can go and you can get a tag team card and you'll win the game in 1 turn. It is absolutely insane. Or even without ADP, if your opponent has a tag team card that's weak on the bench, you can just swing and you'll knock it out. It's insane. You'll literally just be able to win the game. Even if your opponent still has 6 prize cards left, you still have 6 prize cards, you can win the game just with that GX attack. It is utterly insane We play with cards such as Speed Lightning Energy, Raichu Alone Raichu. Other techs you can put in the deck are Boltund V or Vikavolt V, but they're up to personal preference. The real support Pokemon we're going to play is Crobat or Dedenne, but still, it is just an amazing deck. It has never gone away. It probably never will go away, even though people keep complaining that it's too overpowered. And honestly, if Pokemon won't ban Pikachu and Zekrom, and they won't ban Arceus and Dialga and Palkia, there's no way they're going to ban anything else that comes along. If they, pretty much what Pokemon have been doing recently is just, if they put something in the game that's broken, well, too bad, you're going to play with it. And that's exactly what happened with Pikachu and Zekrom. The card is just, it's almost just too good. It's won pretty much every tournament there is now. There is World Champions where it's won by Pikarom. There's all these different cups that have been won by Pikarom. It's insane. Even on PTCGO, everyone plays Pikarom. Pretty much every other deck you're going to find on there in versus mode is going to be Pikarom. It is insane. And I feel bad for the people. I was actually one of them that played all these electric decks before Pikarom came around, and now everyone's playing electric, so you can't really do that anymore. But still, it is, like I said, it is an insane card. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, be sure to leave them in the comments below. And like always, have a great rest of your day.